Picture this. In the heart of a gleaming metropolis, towering above the city's chaos, stands the most secure penthouse you could imagine. This is where our story begins and ends. For its owner, Marcus Chun, a brilliant but reclusive tech billionaire who built his fortune creating unbreakable encryption systems. The scene was, well, pristine. Almost too pristine. 3 separate locks secured the doors, all untampered. The state-of-the-art alarm system, not a single blip of disruption. It was as if death itself had materialized inside those walls. The only other person in the apartment was James Chun's butler, of 15 years, a gentle, elderly man with failing eyesight, who had been with the billionaire through his rise to fortune. The kind of loyal servant you'd never suspect, right? But here's where things get interesting. Chun's cause of death was a single, precise stab wound. The murder weapon, not your typical kitchen knife. No, it was an ornate, antique letter opener. A priceless piece from Chun's collection of rare artifacts. The weapon lay beside the body, clean as a whistle. No prints, not even Chun's own. Now, you might be wondering, how could a visually impaired butler execute such a precise attack? And that's exactly what the detectives thought at first. But they were missing something crucial. Something that made James the perfect killer. You see, James didn't need to see to know every inch of that penthouse. For 15 years, he had memorized every step, every corner, every piece of furniture. His impaired vision had actually made his other senses sharper, his spatial awareness more acute. He knew exactly where Chun would be sitting at that time of day, in his favorite leather chair by the window, reviewing morning reports. The lack of fingerprints? James had meticulously cleaned the entire apartment daily. It was part of his routine. He knew how to leave no trace because he did it every day. The locked doors, he had legitimate access. The alarm system, he knew the codes. But perhaps the most brilliant part of his plan was using his own disability as a shield. Who would suspect a blind butler of executing such a precise crime? It was the perfect cover for the perfect crime. The truth emerged when investigators discovered that Chun had been planning to replace James with automated home systems. A final insult to a man who had dedicated his life to service, only to be discarded for machines. In the end, it wasn't technology that brought down the tech billionaire, but the human element he had forgotten to factor in. They say the perfect crime doesn't exist, but in this case, it almost did.